It would be good.
That would be a blessing. I would love that if you
Because,
could do that.
you know, men don't know what to do with their women.
No,
And they want their women to heal.
to heal. I know. That's what I
And
mean.
it's like
they
I
don't want
trained
that
him
to,
good now, so
yeah,
he knows
he's really good.
He knows what. No, I didn't train him.
He's
God
going
did.
out and going and reading his little book now. And
On healing.
on
actually.
healing. And he knows
So,
how to heal you.
He does.
He's
he does.
healed you and helped you.
He has.
Wow, that is such a blessing.
And
You're so
he's been on his
blessed.
knees many times just saying, God, I don't know what to do.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what to do."
I'm sure he's seen you cry and be so upset.
Well, I'm sure he's cried himself
Emotional. Sure.
and then my kids, you know, looking at us and saying, what, you're weird parents. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
You know, we don't understand you.
Yeah, right.
And so then
you make sure that you tell them what to be careful
well,
of
one
out
of the
there.
steps is healing mother and father wounds.
It's right.
So I had to do that with my own kids.
That was good you did that. Good for you.
No, it's hard to do it though. Just to know that you hurt your own kids.
Yeah, but yeah. They need to be careful out in the world because I never used to let my grandsons go in the men's bathroom. I mean, when they were little, I'd take them to the women's bathroom. Oh well.
Yeah. Right, I know.
But then when they got teenagers, I'd stand outside and stand there and stare. And look
well,
at them.
and you know, it would not bother me to open up the door and say, "Okay,
Yeah,
are you
Are you
okay?"
okay? Yeah, me too.
Just,
That's right.
You know,
Little boys.
So
too.
what if I'm, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
what if I'm an overprotective mom?
I know it. I know. So, but
You have to watch out for them.
You do.
A lot of parents don't watch out for their little ones, and my mom used to turn her nose up and go the other way and never pay any attention. And when I ended up running away from from home, and in Hawaii, up in the mountains with my neighbor, Hawaiian girl, came back down, and I told the cops that I was being hurt my pee-pee, and my mom sent me to a psychiatrist. Where did you learn or hear something like that? That is so wrong. You're so
well,
wrong.
you don't learn those things without being taught what those things are. And so we need to pay attention when children say that.
That's what my big point.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying. What we need to tell them is when children say something like that, you can go to the bank on it.
Well, and explore
They don't make
it.
that up. They don't make that up.
Yeah, they don't.
Children don't make those things up. They don't even think like that.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I don't think so. I think we're trained. I was trained.
God wouldn't have us grow up thinking about that kind of stuff when we're little babies and children.
No.
Heavens, no. He protects us from all those evil things.
He
He
wants
protects
to.
us.
Yes,
he wants to protect us.
He does.
And I grew up in church. My mom took me to church. I went to Sunday school too. I mean, I've always had the Lord in my life, and I love Him.
And I met him when I was probably 4, because he would come to me and whisper that he's with me. And then when I grew up Catholic, and so when I was 7 years old, I took my first communion, and I was so excited.
Yeah, I bet.
Because Jesus was going to live inside of me.
Right.
And I was never going to be alone again.
And you were never going to have to worry again, except that didn't happen.
You know, but he was still with me.
Well, yeah, but
he was still with me, and he never left me.
That's true.
He never left me.
That's good.
Even if I didn't understand what was happening, he never left me. Mm-hmm. So I still didn't have to get my brain around it.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around that. I think as a
it
child,
is.
Especially as a child.
It's hard to get your head wrapped around a lot of things.
Even as grown-ups.
Yeah. So it's a hard thing. So. And you said you didn't have the shaking trauma thing?
No, the only thing that I would have for many years, it was the screaming and waking up in the middle of the night with dark shadow over the top of me. And,
yes.
And then he'd lock me in the closet with masking tape on my mouth and hands and feet and put me in the closet so I'd be quiet. Yeah, woo, scary. It was terrifying.
You know.
And so when you think that somebody could do that to your child, and you be laying in there asleep, a woman laying there asleep because y'all are drunk and having the parties and whatever, and the mother's passed out, whatever, and the dad's doing that to the kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they doing? How are they raising children like that?
Well,
You know, my mother must have been a nutto. Well, she was.
she was not connected.
She was not connected, honey.
not
Heck,
connected.
believe me that she was
Yeah.
not.
And you know, my mother had her own emotional abuse issues too, I'm sure.
Did
and
she?
so I think that's why she,
Mine didn't.
you know, wasn't real connected. But I think she knew some things were going on, and so because I remember at about the age of 5, the boy down the street never showed up again.
Dude,
So I'm
she must have laid the law down to the mother and said,
Yeah,
"Get him out of here."
I'm thinking that she knew something was going on.
I'd hope so, anyway.
And so, and I think that some of the other things that were happening in my life, she knew some of it was going on, but
Did she?
a lot of it she didn't know what was going on.
No.
And I wasn't going to tell because I was scared.
No, you're scared to
You
tell.
You are.
Too scared.
So.
So in a couple of weeks, you and your husband's gonna come back, and we're
Sure,
gonna have
we can
we're
do
gonna have a
that, Jean.
show.
We can we'll have to look at the calendar and see
Yeah,
when
let's look at the calendar.
he travels a lot.
Make sure that he's home and everything's cool.
And-
I mean,
and I'll
after
give
the
you the-
holidays, even maybe.
I'll
I mean,
give you the
know,
right time.
give me the right time. No, I wrote it down wrong. It wasn't my. It was not your fault. It was my fault.
I know. We'll be
Today,
fine.
you wouldn't believe it. I was here at 3:00 this afternoon, and she had said, "Well, I got to go to the doctor at 3, and then I'll be there at 6." Okay, and then I'm here at 3.
She was
thinking,
so worried about me.
and then I called 3 times, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, what's happened to you? I'm so worried."
Yeah, I was safe.
She was
I was
safe,
safe,
and then
yeah.
she said, well, "I'm supposed to be there at 6." Da da.
So and I think I'd like to have Julie come and speak
Oh
with you.
gosh, I wish you
It's-
would. That
she
would be a
also-
blessing.
She has she's a trauma specialist, so that's
Oh,
why
that
she
would
went
be
to
great.
Uganda.
I'd love to talk to
And
her.
she was also at Ground Zero.
Trauma.
I know. She helped me with mine because I did the shaking trauma thing, and she helped me with that.
honey.
And being on this videotape was the first time I was with a group of women that understood. It's so nice
That's
to be
so
around
nice.
women that
yeah,
understand.
I've never. You're the first. You're actually the first. No, 1, 2, 3. There's been about 4 women that have actually. Well, most of the other women except were in prostitution
Okay.
and trafficked.
Yeah.
And the other women, there's only been I think two other women besides you that have been molested as children.
And you know, and
child molestation.
I'm grateful that I wasn't trafficked, but I think the impact is
Well,
just the same
it's
on
the
our
same.
spirits.
Well, sure
and
it is.
and I don't want your audience to think that just because I was sexually abused but not trafficked, then that's why we want to give you a voice.
That's right. That's why we want to give you a voice. Remember that.
Yeah, because
that.
it is even if it's little, there's an
That's a
impact.
lot.
It's a lot. It's
Let me
more
tell
than
you
it needs to
something
be.
more. To me, being sexually abused as a child was probably more detrimental and hurting mentally, physically, than being a prostitute.
And why would you say that,
The
Jenny?
reason I say that is because when I was abused as a child, I couldn't. I was scared and always living in fear. Whereas when I was a prostitute, I was living a glamorous, glorious life that I thought was glorious and glamorous.
Right.
And I knew it was bad, it was evil, it was wrong. I knew all those things. But once I got into it, I couldn't get out. And I was stuck in prostitution for 13 years.
And the fear factor came back.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
they
not
were-
only that, but the beatings came.
Yeah.
And the abuse of the old man.
Yeah.
Beating me and abusing me and shooting at me and knifing me and
Yeah.
beating me. I mean, I went into all that and finally came out on the other side alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God I don't know how I did it, but I did.
And that's why we're survivors.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're survivors. Yeah.